my dear students. This is part 2 of the second lecture. It's about TCP/IP. This lecture, all the students had been asking me to deliver this lecture at the beginning of the practical, most of the practical lectures. Most of the students, they ask me, how do we understand the IP? What is the internet protocol? What is the IP address? How you put the addresses? In this lecture, we're gonna explain the basic and introduction behind transfer control protocol and internet protocol, or as we used in the practical lessons, we call it IP address. So the TCP/IP protocol suite is a suite or form different like OSI level, but it's 5 layers. So OSI, previously in part 1 of the second lecture, we said that it's 7 layers, but here in the TCP/IP protocol suites, it's only 5 layers, same like this. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have the physical layer, we have data link, network, transport, but we don't have session and presentation. We have directly application layer. So be careful. These are the 5 layers of the TCP/IP representation as a suite layer. So addressing, as we are saying here, that when TCP/IP is compared to OSI, we can say that TCP/IP protocol suite is made of only 5 layers. What are they? Physical, data link, network, transport, and application. That means we don't have session and presentation. So be careful when we say 5 layers is the TCP/IP suite, while 7 layers is the OSI model. Type of addressing. Students, the addresses which we took, that we have 7 type of addresses. We have a physical address, we have a logical address, we have a port address, and we have a specific address. These 4 addresses, you should know the purpose of these 4 addresses by looking to the next flow chart. Physical address is here in the physical and data link layer. So the physical address contains of 2 layers, the physical layer and the data link layer. This address, we are not able to touch it or change it. Okay, we can mislead the other people by adding some code to the routers, but physical address, if it had been counted, if it had been captured by user, he can detect your location directly. So this is different address. This is address physical, that means it's burned inside your card, inside your NIC, network interconnection card. This one is burned, you cannot change it. While the logical address, this address in network layer, this is the IP address which we do in every lecture. We explain about it in every lecture in the practical. This is what we are going to engineer this IP address according to the network which we have. The other one we call port address. We'll cover this address in next semester. It's inside the transport layer. It contains of TCP, UDP, transfer control protocol, user datagram protocol, and SCTP, which is control transfer protocol, signal control transfer protocol. So, and we have a specific address. This is the application layer. So we have 4 type of addresses, as we have said in here. Addresses are 4, and anyone, if you want to connect to the internet, you should use these 4 addresses. Number 1 is the physical address. This one is burned on your NIC card, you cannot change it. There's a logical address. This address is your address you need to connect to the internet. This is your IP. There's a port address. This is depend on the application which you use, which port you are which service you want to use and which port you want to open for that specific service. and there is a specific addresses for some application. So physical layer and data link layer, they have physical address. Network layer, it has logical address. Transport layer, it has port address, and application layer, it has a specific address. Let me cover the physical address. It is very important that you know that physical address has different names. Sometimes they call it hardware address or MAC address. MAC stands for medium access control. Medium access control addresses. So each node has a unique MAC address or unique physical address or unique hardware address. A global identifier burned into the RAM of your NIC or network interface card. Okay? So any NIC has its own address. What is this address? Who gives this address? This address given by the manufacturer. The factory has a block of addresses assigned by organization called IEEE, which is International Electrical Engineering, International Electronics Engineering Organization. So there is not in the world that two networks in the world have the same address. Any network should have different address. So this address contains of 48 bits. That means it's 6 bytes. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The first 3 bytes or the first 3 bytes are given by IEEE. The last 3 bytes are controlled by the manufacturer. So altogether are 48. How did we get 48? That means 6 times 8. We got 48 bits. So we have a 12 hexadecimal. So as you can see here, the representation of data is hexadecimal. So these are 12 hexadecimal. We have 6 here and 6 there. 3 bytes from the left side, 3 bytes for the right side. Okay. Every 2 hexadecimal digits is separated by a column as shown below. This is a column. Okay, we have 6 bytes, 6 times 12. This is about 72 bits. But every 2 bits represent every two digits represent 1 byte. So as you know that the hexadecimal started from 0000, ended at 1111. So they are 4 numbers here for every hexadecimal number. So 4 plus 4, these are 8. So this means 8 bits. That means 1 byte. So we have 3 bytes plus 3 bytes. These are 6 bytes. 6 times 8, it's 48. So we have these are the 6 locations for IEEE. So let we jump to the next layer, which is logical addresses. But remember, students, in every exam I ask what is the physical layer. You should know that physical address, I ask about physical address. Physical address, it's hardware address, it's MAC address. Each MAC address is global identifier. It's not impossible to have 2 MAC address connected on the network, and it's assigned by IEEE, contains of 48 bits, or every location contains of 12 hexadecimal digits, and it contains of 3 locations assigned by IEEE, other 3 locations assigned by the manufacturer. The next lecture is about the network layer or logical addresses. As an introduction, an IP address, what is the IP address? Is Internet Protocol address or logical address. So we finished the physical address. Now we are moving into something we call logical address. So focus with me, because this is gonna take a long time to explain, and we explain slowly. IP address are managed and created by Internet Assigned Numbers Authority. So IANA, if I ask you what is IANA, remember that it's Internet Assigned Numbers Authority. We have two types of IP address as we have explained before. It's IP version 6, which is only 32 bits. IP version 4, sorry, IP version 4, which is only 32 bits. IP version 6 is 128 bits. So the network layer is responsible for delivering individual packets. This one we took it in part 1 of this lecture. So from source to destination we deliver individual packets. These packets should contain an IP address. We will cover at the first part IP version 4, which is 32 bits. But we said this is not enough. Why? Because 32 bits, that means if it's 0 and 1, so it's 2 to the power of 32, which is almost 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That means 4 billion users. And in the world we have too many users. We have 7 billion population, so it's not enough to cover all the world. So they jump into IP version 6, which is can accommodate of 2 to the power of 128 users, which is enough for many users, which is more than you can imagine. So we will explain this by details. Thank you for attending my lecture. Wait for part 3.